Ready to hear some motors rev? Woo! All right, like I said, okay, I'm gonna bring them on out, have a brief little conversation with them, then I'll turn it over to you and your questions. We'll probably do a line right in there, and just as always, remember, one question at a time, no requests. The questions have to be to everybody. So that cool with you? All right, our first guest, he is an actor and director whose roles include Revolution, F9 The Fast Saga, The Terminal List, and Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 2. Today he joins us to discuss the role of Ezekiel Easy Reyes and his journey from Mayan prospect to Presidente. Please welcome J.D. Pardo! Boss. All good, all good. And next, he is an actor and writer whose credits include Luke Cage, The Penguin, Emily the Criminal, and Army of the Dead. Today, he joins us to discuss his journey of Sam Crow member Juan Carlos Ortiz, a.k.a. Juice. Please welcome Theo Rossi! And next, he is an actor, writer, and artist whose works include Lucifer, Hunter's Moon, and Street Level. His autobiography, Becoming a Son, is available at all fine book outlets. Today, he joins us to discuss the role of Sam Crow, Sergeant at Arms, Happy Loman, a.k.a. Hap. Please welcome David Labrava! And next, he is an actor and comedian whose credits include Landman, Z Nation, Venom, and Con Air. Today, he joins us to discuss the role of El Padrino of the Mayans, Marcus Alvarez. Please welcome Emilio Rivera! And finally, he's an actor with an unparalleled body of work which includes Beauty and the Beast, Ice Pirates, Teen Titans, The City of Lost Children, Adventure Time, Pacific Rim, and several Hellblade projects. Today he joins us to discuss the role of Machiavellian Chapter President Clay Morrow. Please welcome Ron Pearlman!
Ice Pirates.
Hey, man,
She follows you around, man.
Can we acknowledge how amazing that Ron Pearlman bag and clothing outfit is? It's amazing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are for sale at Ron's table.
Gentlemen, thanks for joining us here in Jacksonville this weekend. Hope you're having a good time so far. I'll just throw this out real quick and then I'll jump in the audience questions. All right. So much stuff going on in both these shows combined, and any TV show is going to be perilous, but a show like this with work, stunt work, everything else. So, for each of you, what was the craziest day you had on either a Sam Crow set or a Mayan set? What was the craziest day, the craziest single day you had on the set?
I guess I'll start. I was in a bad position with Marilyn Manson once. In a prison cell. That made me question my entire existence.
Rough.
Yeah, that made me question my existence as a human being, as well as why I was doing what I was doing for a living.
But were you like,
compromised?
I'm gonna ask him a question now. Were you like,
Compromised.
when you were bent over, were you
Yeah.
just kind of like,
Were you like no bending?
We're like,
There's no
but
bending.
it's Marilyn Manson, so this is, you know.
No, what happened was obviously you're staying in character, you're doing what you're doing, and then his hair dye was dripping on me.
Oh,
Yes. Black hair dye, and that's when I came out and I was like, oh fuck, this is weird.
That's foreplay right there, foreplay.
That's weirder than my Manson story.
I think that beats us all.
Yeah. What was your craziest day, Emilio?
You hooking up on Marilyn Manson.
He's like, I had to watch that,
He's
bro.
like, I used that same hair dye, dog.
Can we do it again? Yeah.
We use the same brand.
I think the craziest day was when, before that happened, Kim kissed Walden.
Yeah, that was
We were
wild.
waiting for that scene, and as we all left the room one at a time, everybody ran to the monitor, remember?
Yeah. because we were waiting for them to come together for so long, and it was just, I mean, honestly, to be completely honest, the craziest scene for me, completely honestly, was watching the Tara thing, because we were filming that for 2 days, and like having that happen, because I'm such a huge fan of the Tara character, like when that happened and going through that and knowing it's gonna be a finale, because again, the difference now is knowing that people are gonna see this and wait 6 months. You're gonna see this happen and you're gonna have to wait 6 months for it to be resolved is insane to think about. So like moments like that always are vivid, and like when Abel got taken, when we were running on that pier, and in your mind you're thinking, this is gonna air and people are gonna have to wait 6 months. So I think now they're going back to that format, but you know, that was, I think that was, those bigger moments is what I remember the most.
I can't beat that Marilyn Manson scene. I can't. It was a lot. I think probably we all just have to go through those memories, because like every day was just, it's just crazy.
Well, your guys' ending, like the whole ending was.
Oh yeah, where I got like where everyone's a traitor and they decided to Caesar me in the Templo. That was that was a little rough. That was a rough day. But no, a lot of our fight scenes. I mean, we had one where we spent like a whole night filming this this huge fight in a parking lot. I mean, so many people got sent to the hospital that day. It was rough. I mean, you're in it, and you just go, and it's on concrete. There's no pads. So the rule is you get hurt, just kind of go through it, and when we say cut, we'll assess the damage. But it was fun.
Yeah, it was fun for us too.
Great, good.
Fan questions?
Hey, have we got another one?
Ron?
I'll just jump on
He's not
in.
going to talk. He's he's in
No,
the middle of a vow of silence.
I was actually taking a power nap, but nothing personal, JT. I think my hardest day was the day when the prop guy told me he ran out of cigars. Motherfucker. Now what am I supposed to do with my hands? Still haven't gotten over that one.
It was rough.
Yeah, obviously. So. Well, any others? I'll just jump on in. I'll jump in.
Why you gotta be like that, man?
Yeah, it's all good. All right, let's go ahead and do a line over here. Whoever has the first one, I'll get 2 pieces of candy. So start right here. Who's got one? Come on. Oh, young lady, come on over. All right, that's all right. That's all right.
Boy, they really make you pay your dues to ask a question.
Hi, what's your name?
Vicky.
Vicky, what do you have?
The show had a lot of tattoos in it. Did any of you get permanent tattoos while you were on the show?
Get what tattoos?
Like permanent tattoos from the ones that were used on the show. Did you ever get permanent ones?
Only real ones in real life, not from the show.
You know, for me, when I first started the show, they already had this whole pattern they wanted to do all over me. You know, all sleeved out and all this stuff. And I didn't want to do that because you had to come in like 3 hours early. You did. I'd rather shoot it. So if you watch the show, I wore long sleeves the whole time because I didn't want to be tatted up like that. And then one time I got shot a couple of times over the years, and I said, okay, make this easy, bro. Just put the Mayan calendar on my chest and be done with it. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, it's a lot of work. So yeah, no. If it ain't real, I'm not putting it on no more. I've been in for so long doing these guys, and for 20 years I've been putting fake tattoos on. I don't do that for 7 years, you know. That's how that worked out.
So I was there 2 hours early every day doing the thing that he says he didn't want to do, I was doing.
Yeah, you had one on the side of your head, right?
You got to come in 2 hours early, bro. And sometimes you got a 5 a.m. call, forget about it.
It's called commitment, Emilio. It's called commitment.
It's called character. You know, you get into the character.
I'm good.
It's plain something.
You can't change your look so much. We before every season we would all get together, usually at Kurt's house, and have dinner. And I had got to Thailand, and I got these, and I said, oh, I tattooed my hands. And Katie said, where? And Kurt said, what? And I said, nobody will notice, bro. You know, that's real life. People get tattooed, you know.
And you know, I had this one thing, I make it real easy. I would do it myself. I put a tattoo of a cross right here. You know, it's the cross that we put on. That is such a kind of tradition. And I tattooed that on my dad rest in peace back in the day. So I did it, by hand. So that was always homage to him. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing I would do is that.
You don't have any real happy faces anywhere. And who created that? Who came up with the idea to do the happy
I don't know, but it would be insane to be doing murders and documenting each one. That would not be the brightest thing to do. This happened on September 12th. We know for sure because you didn't have it on the 11th.
It's true, you're implicating yourself in tattoo visits.
It's not smart. I know what I'm talking about.
Thank you. Great way to start us off with. Yeah, go on. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, my name is Raquel Cristina. I wanted to ask, what exactly drew you guys to working on Sam Crow or on Mayans? Like, what made you want to become part of the cast? Was there like a specific, was it the storyline? Was it?
I think everybody in Hollywood wanted to be part of that cast. You know what I mean? It was they saw a lot of people. It's just we were the lucky ones that got picked.
Exactly.
It was a big thing, and I mean everybody I knew read for it. You know what I mean? So for us to be handpicked, it's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah, I think for me, once they decided to do Mayans, it just starts going around town that they're gonna do a spin-off of Sons of Anarchy, and you're like, wow, I want to be a part of that because that was just such a global, legendary TV show, changed television, and as an actor, that just ups your game, right? So. For me, that's
you through the ringer for it. Like, how many times? What was your process? Like, did they?
So funny thing is, I read first. I put myself on tape like other actors, and Kurt saw the tape, and he said, like, no, you're not the guy. Wow. But the casting director was like, yeah, she was like, he's wrong. She called out, and she was just like, Kurt's wrong. But let me do this process.
She's still alive.
And she's like, I'm gonna find a way to get you in. So then she calls up and she's just like, hey, so we're having a weekend where Kurt's gonna come in town and he's gonna read a ton of people with like 5 dummy roles. And she's like, do you mind coming in and just reading these dummy roles? And I said, no, like, I just wanna be a part of the world. So I went in, and probably the smartest thing that I did was I knew that what I needed to do was just be in front of Kurt and the producers as much as possible. So I knew people were only gonna pick a role. And that's kind of like what the instructions were, like just pick a character. But I memorized all 5. So when I went in there, they go, okay, we need somebody who knows Cruz. Does someone know Cruz? I'm like, I know Cruz. And they're like, great, come in, you, and you 3 come in and read. So I read, and then they go, all right, sit down. Does somebody know Juan? And I'm like, I know Juan. And so I kept going in the room and reading. And then finally, like on the third one, Kurt just stops it in the room. He's like, all right, everybody, stop. He's like, hey, can you guys leave? JD, you stay here. And I was like, yeah, I'm in the room. And he's just like, dude, what's the story? Like, what do you... So he was asking about me, where I was from, how I grew up, and I was checking every no box I could. He's like, have you ever been part of a gang? No. I was like, in fact, my dad's a cop. And he's just like, oh, okay. Have you ever ridden motorcycles? No, So he's like, are you Mexican? I'm like, no, my dad's Argentinian, my mom's from El Salvador. So he was just like, I have to, I gotta be honest, and I just, you're not Mexican, and I think I want to kind of stay true to that culture, but I really like you. Do you mind if I write a role for you? And I was like, dude, anything you could do, like, I just want to be a part of it. And I was like, but I got to tell you, I mean, I grew up in this area, I grew up around it, and I just feel like I have the heart of the character. And as the one thing about me is, like, you can't intimidate me. I'm not, like, you're not going to apply pressure to me that I just can't handle, and this show needs somebody that can handle pressure. And he was just like, all right, let's see you read easy. So I took the sides, went outside to the parking lot. I was like, give me 30 minutes. It was like 8 pages. Wendy's like, in 15 minutes, she's like, hey, you ready? I'm like, no, I haven't. You said 30 minutes. I go in there and read, and then worked with Kurt for about 30 minutes, and then that night I got the offer. So it was It was a process. It was like a full day commitment of just going in, but looking back at it, I really focused on, I said, how can I go that extra mile? What are people like not going to do? And they're just gonna pick a role. I'll memorize all 5.
Yep.
So that was
Strategic ownership.
yeah. You have to be, right?
You guys know there was a different Clay in the original pilot, played by an actor named Scott Glenn.
Yeah.
But there was a totally different one that we did. And it's just a whole different show.
And Emilio was a Mayan named Hawk.
No, I was a son.
A son, I mean, he was a son. The Mayans were not invented yet in that very first.
So we're still like, I'm still dying to see that original pilot.
Me too.
Like, I really,
But they made it, and I love Scott, and he was such a nice man, because I was his hitman, I was his right-hand man. But when they brought in Ron, I said,
it's a totally different show.
It's a totally different thing. So when they brought in Ron, I go, okay, now we got sons, you dig? It was really good, man.
Want to hear my origin story?
Yes.
So they know they want to replace the role of Clay. Scott Glenn is a phenomenal actor, but they thought that he didn't capture the gallows humor. Whenever you're in a really dangerous situation, humor is the one thing that lightens up everything. So Kurt worked with me and, working on getting me, that funny side and shit. I go into a room with like 25 Fox executives, and I read a scene with Katie, and then I read a scene with Charlie, and I read another scene with Charlie. And then I get in my car, and I'm looking at my phone going, I know it's gonna ring, man, I fucking nailed this shit. I get, halfway home, I look at the phone, now I think, did I pay my bill? Maybe. I get all the way home, no phone calls, no nothing. And so finally I'm packing to go to Romania to shoot a movie the next day. And phone rings, Kurt Sutter. Hey, Ron, they thought you were really funny, but they didn't get the toughness. And they want you to come back. I said, Kurt, how good are you at delivering messages? He goes, what's the message? I said, tell them I ain't coming back. I'm getting on a fucking plane tomorrow to make a movie in Romania. And if they don't want to give me the role, they can go fuck themselves. And if that ain't tough enough, see you later. I said, okay, you don't have to come back in.
When they called me in, and so I read for Hawk, and then it was quick. I did that, knocked it out, and then he calls me back, and they said, same thing. I had to go to the room with 25 people, and all the heads were there. It's like doing theater, And I'm sitting outside with John Denson, and Kurt comes out, and he goes, listen, the role is yours. Nobody's up against you. You're up against yourself. Don't fuck it up. And that was his note to me. And, so I go in there, and I do my thing, and then he goes, can you wait outside? I go wait outside, and everybody's just there. And he comes back, and he has his head down, like very disappointed. And he goes, Emilio, can you come back in? And I go, man, I fucked this up, and he just told me, don't fuck it up, And I go in there, and everybody gets out of their chairs and start clapping and say, welcome to the family. So it was pretty badass,
Oh, that's cool.
It was really cool, man. I felt like I fucking won an Oscar or something. It was a trip, man. It was very heartfelt, man.
That's good. Any other? Theo, what was your origin?
Oh man, mine is similar to his. I read for every role. I read for every role in the show. I read for Jax, I read for Half Sack, I read for Hawk, I read for those 3 definitely, and then I read for like some small roles. I didn't get anything. But I was convinced in my head I was supposed to do the show because something had happened in my past life with clubs and all that. And I was like, I'm supposed to do the show, and I was a giant fan of The Shield. And I knew Kurt from The Shield. Like, I was such a big fan of The Shield. And I was like, no, I'm supposed to do this show. Like, and then nothing. I was like, fuck. So I was testing for this other pilot at the time. It was some shitty ass pilot called Football Wives or something. And I was like, and my agent at the time was like, well, we're testing for this pilot. And I was like, I'm telling you, man, I'm supposed to get this show. And at the time it was called Forever Sam Crow. And I had never heard anything. And then Wendy called me up and said, hey, listen, Kurt really likes you. He just wants to talk to you on the phone. And I was like, oh, all right, cool. So Kurt and I got on the phone, and Kurt's peculiar in like the way he talks. Like it takes a while to get like across what he's saying. And he said, hey, so, I want you on the show, but I don't know if you're gonna have one line or 100. I just don't know. I just want you on. But if you'll like take the jump, you just gotta trust in me. But I just don't know if it's gonna be or turn out to be anything. So I was like, yeah, I'm in. And he's like, oh, do you want to talk about it? I said, no, whatever you want to do, I'm in. I didn't care. I just wanted to be, because I was supposed to be part of the show in my head. So then I went back to my agent and I was like, hey, I can't test for that show. I just agreed to do this. And they're like, that's not the way this works. Like, you're testing for this show. You can't just say yes. You don't even know what the money is, right? I said, no, I'm supposed to do the show. And they said, if you take it, then we can't represent you anymore. And I said, okay. So they dropped me and I wound up becoming Juice. So it's like I knew at that moment I was supposed to do, and Kurt, I had a totally different name in the original pilot. I had hair, I was jacked up on Jolt Cola, I was like a computer hacker, and then it slowly starts to change. So
into a diaper.
Yeah. And it was really about persistence. I just was I'm supposed to do this, so it doesn't matter. And Wendy, I credit Wendy for everything. She literally changed my life.
And if there are any agents in the audience, Theo is available.
I've never gotten one since, yeah. So it changed everything, but it was one of those things that when you just know, you know, and that was one of those shows that I just knew it. I knew something. And, but to be honest, until Ron and Tig came on, until Kim and all that, when we shot that original pilot, Emilio was my first friend on the show. I did not think we would get past the first show. I was like, oh, it's cool, but nobody had ever done this.
I thought we would, because, it was for me, off the top, it was Sopranos on wheels. It really was. And I remember, growing up as kids, we were around a lot in my neighborhood, there was a lot of Hell's Angels running around, and we were little, and my mom would say, when they pass by, don't look at them, So it was they were scared, my parents were, we were little. And the thing was, so for me, it was you could see this dangerous guys in the comfort of your home, the safety of your home, and see what they kind of live like, So I knew it was going to be a hit, brother, It was just different.
Yeah, when they came on, when those two when the recast thing happens and things changed, the show just changed. And then it was really, for me, the Gemma episode where she was assaulted in the beginning of season 2 was that's when people started really talking about the show.
Kurt came up to Oakland.
And I told Charlie
he spent a week up there, and I took him all around, and he met some serious people. We have an Irish president. We were interviewing an Elvis impersonator that particular week, and I had already been a kid. Yeah, we were Ham Crow. They are Sam Crow. There were so many things that were exactly similar. And I had been a cameraman for a company, not giant cameraman, just held it for Salmon King. So the last day he came to my house, and the guy there's a pitch, and the creator, John Linson, pitched the show. He's sitting there, and him and Kurt had their own animosity at that moment, and the last day he came in with his last questions, and I had been writing for a magazine, and I put him on the table, and I put a little thing I had made with my friends, and he says, where do you see yourself on this show? I said, I'm the tech advisor, you're stuck with me. And I would like a shot to read just like anybody else. He says, do you act? Every day is an act, homeboy. I want a shot to be on that show. I know I write so I can see. And I read for Tig, and how he said, Wendy O'Brien, she's a class act. I'm sitting outside and I could hear them saying to the guy reading, tougher. She walks up, did you hear that? And I mean, I'm living my own life. I ran up to Melrose and I bought a buckle, and I bought a couple things that I thought would fit the little role, and I did not get the role. And he called me that night. He goes, hey, just want you to know they're going to give it to this actor, Kim Coates. I go, the guy from Waterworld, right? He's the one. and yeah, I go, that guy's an incredible actor, bro. He goes, yeah, but you know what? Yeah, and John said, write that dude a letter and tell him you're going to help the show realistically because of how you look and who you are, and to put you on the show. And he wrote back and said, I'm going to create a character for you, Happy the Assassin. And it's like, you couldn't have called me psycho or something cool like that. He goes, no, I've been to Oakland. You are never happy, so I called you happy.
That's so crazy. Thank you. Great question.
Great. Cheers, how's it going? Thank you. Hi, what's your name?
Hello, my name is Karen.
What you got?
I know you guys have a lot of episodes in both of your shows. Does any one stand out to you as your favorite?
Too many. I had a ball, man. You know, I had a ball. When I killed my son, that was a tough one. You dig what I'm saying? But that was more tough than anything else. You know, I can't say it's my favorite, but
I thought it was great. Not great. When this guy killed the girl, I really was a fan of Nero. Nero had class, and I dug when he was telling Charlie, "We don't hurt people like that, bro. We help people like that, bro." You know? And the only other part is Jaden Callahan installed the joint. He knew she was gonna die.
That's great.
That's my number one scene.
my number one scene is, I wasn't in that episode, but it was when Ron Pearlman died. And I mean that in a good way, because it was a manly death. You dig what I'm saying? It was just, I was like hardcore. He just said, he walks over there and they're gonna kill him. And he walks over to his spot and he points down like, is this okay? And Shawty goes, it's okay. Bam, that was hardcore, man. To me,
I think,
blew my mind.
Yeah, I think in hindsight now, that especially with these cons that we do, and we're all in touch constantly, you know, we still all talk all the time. I think there's no specific thing. It's like, it was such a different time in this world, like when we were filming it. Like, social media wasn't like taking over your life. It was like, it was a TV show that was on every 6 months, and like, we loved being there. We never left the set. Like, we were so, like, and I'm talking like the beginning, before like fame kicked in and money became, like, when it was just this pure thing in the beginning, when we'd be together every weekend, vacations, any time off, we were always together. And
Camp.
Always. And camp. We did everything together. It was this magical moment that is so odd and rare in this business, in, you know, in all the things we've all done. It's like that moment is kind of what I look so fondly on now, because it truly will never exist again, because the world is not like that, the business surely isn't like that. So it's like, it was just that moment, and I think about those a lot all the time.
We used to hang out at Dayton Kelly's house, man. Remember that?
Oh,
it was
the
beautiful,
pool,
man.
the barbecue.
Yeah,
It was
we
just,
used to have good times. It was like a family, but
Yeah.
it was beautiful, man.
It's really just a job, okay? It's just a job. It's a special job. It's a job with usually decent health insurance, and you get paid this and that. It's a cool job that it takes an incredible amount of work, How he's saying, bro, I have 3 words. People like Ron have pages. They gotta forget them each day, remember them the next day, be on your mark and remember your lines. It's an incredible job. I didn't know at all what a job it was. Remember the Irish guy that stole the kid? Remember the Irish guy at the end of season 1? What's his name?
Jimmy O.
Huh?
Jimmy O.
And
Titus Wells.
that was Titus, the other dude, remember? And he was on everything. This guy's in everything, and he got killed. And I'm walking the set, this guy walks up to me and says, excuse me. He says, I just want to know, I waited my whole life to walk on a show the way you did. It's cool to see you appreciate it. And he just walked away. And it kind of, I'm sitting around looking, wow, this is actually a really special thing to be picked to do, like you said before.
Just when we're doing Mayans, you know, when we're doing the Mayans, for me, that was the gig, man. You know, because everybody, it was like a bunch of young dudes, like they were in college, just beating the shit out of each, hitting each other, running each other, get each other in the headlock, and then they would do like 5-minute warning, everybody just gets serious. You know, it was so much fun. That's one of the jobs that I wish never went away. You dig what I'm saying? It was like what you guys were on Sons. That's what I experienced. Because I was too serious on Sons. On Sons, I was too serious. I didn't know how to act. I was just being, you know, just too much subtext going on. And Mayans they freed me up, and I had so much fun with these guys. It really was a dream job. And I've been around a long time, and that was one.
He's 100 years old.
He's 100 years old.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good, there you go. Thank you. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Sarah. My question is, was there ever a point on set where you're like, I'm grumpy, I'm stressed, whatever the case is going on, F this, I'm done, I'm out. And if so, what got you to keep going?
Is that directed at Ron?
Yeah, you were looking right at me. What have you heard? I was grumpy every day. And I was also happy every day. I was like, it's like, it's a marathon, and you're gonna go through every single thing because it's intense, there's a lot of pressure, you feel it. You wanna get it right as quickly as you possibly can so that you can move on and make the day. And there was never ever one thing, it was everything. And you gotta be ready to deal with everything. And sometimes I think the thing everybody's been saying beautifully is that every time you do a gig, you create a new family. And in this case, we really, that was the dog that wagged the tail, or the tail that wagged the dog, whatever it was. We were family first. And so if you were having a fucked up day, people would come gather around you and lift you up, if you were about to do something stupid, like and dangerous, people would get around you and talk you down. And I think that's probably why the show was as memorable as it was. We really loved to be in each other's company, especially in the beginning. Once success hit it, and it became kind of corporate, that sort of changes a little bit. But I remember the purity of the early days, and every time I do a job, I hope and pray that I get to experience that again.
Yeah, man, that was a true blessing, man. For me to carry it on to mine, that's a double whammy. You dig what I'm saying? I mean, when does that happen? You know what I mean? So, and I saw some of the things that I better not say that. Okay, it was just a beautiful thing, But you can't. If you do what we do.
Just say it, man.
Just say it. No, I can't. It's like I'm the happiest when I'm with my family and when I work. It's like it's the same. I'm just a happy guy. It makes me. I'm blessed. I'm lucky. It's just good times.
Yeah, you definitely have. It's just exactly like Ron said. I think that's the power of a pack. That's the power of a brotherhood. It's like you need to be lifted up. You're gonna get lifted up. If you're gonna act like an asshole, then people are gonna pick at you. Like there's no victim. If you're gonna be a bitch about it, then all the guys are just gonna pick at you and force you to get out of it. You just can't. You can't. That was for us on set. That was the rule. No assholes allowed. You can't be it. If you're gonna lock yourself up in your trailer, someone's gonna kick down your door and drag you to set. It's just, we all got work to do. And honestly, yeah, because life happens. You can be at home and get into an argument with your partner, or be sick, and you still gotta go to set, and you gotta do a happy scene. And so that's where technique and craft come in, where you gotta fall back on that process to uplift yourself, because it's your job. I can't just show up and just be like, nah, not working today. Yeah. They don't care. You got the flu, or you got the stomach flu, whatever, they're gonna keep a bucket on the side, and they'll wipe the sweat off your face and everything, and they'll have the set medic there, and they'll have a robe on you, and you're like this, you're like, oh my God. And then they say, okay, ready, and they take everything off, and they go, action. And you're like, yeah, doing your thing. They say, cut, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's just what it is. You sign a contract, and you're in it, you're locked in it. The only way you're out is if, they kill you off, or decide to stab you in a templo after you brought the club up and destroyed the Suns. It's just
give you pie and entice you with a piece of pie and then murder you viciously. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Great one. All right, we got two more. Hey, what's your name?
Ori.
What you got?
Who is your favorite character other than the character that you played?
Tig for me. I love Tig. Yeah.
Nero.
Oh yeah, I love Nero too. I love Tara. Tara's my favorite character. I just really love Tara. I just think that she didn't. One, I think she's a phenomenal actor, and I just thought she was like truly a good person, and like just got destroyed by the situation around her. So I thought that was a really great character. And also I think because there was so much distance between Maggie and us, like that it felt like I was like watching her, seeing her work. I got to do a bunch of stuff with her, but I just really admired that character and how she handled herself in this world of gorillas that we were when we were there. You know, because Gemma was like in the mix with us, but Tara was like on the outside. So that's my favorite.
No comment.
You got a favorite? Say no comment.
Jax or
Fuck you. But no comment.
Kids here, Mom. Kids. Earmuffs, children. Earmuffs.
You're gonna have to learn it somewhere.
All right, gentlemen, this might be a first. So, it's our last question. It's not from her. It's gonna be from her.
Oh, I love it.
So we can ask questions later how she came to appreciate the show and everything else. We're not judging you. We're not. Oh, it's Grandma. We're not judging you, Grandma. We're not. I'll tell you what.
I am.
I'll tell you what. Let's go on up. Let's go on up and ask. Let's go up so everybody can see her. So.
Who are those Child Protective Services people that just
Who just walked in with handcuffs?
Oh, sorry, you can take my chair too. All right, sounds good. Okay. All right, so what's your name? Holly-Anna. Okay, Holly-Anna. What do you want to ask the combined cast of Mayans MC and Sons of Anarchy?
Do you ride real bikes?
Do you ride real bikes, meaning motorcycles? Do any of you guys ride motorcycles before the show or after during that?
Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah, not as much anymore. It's hard riding bikes in LA because people are on their phones and it's a scary situation. But yeah, I do have a bike.
Yeah. Thank you so much for asking that question. That's a great question, by the way. Yeah, I still have 3 of my motorcycles, but I have 2 little young sons who are 7 and 9, so I don't really ride anymore unless it's like a charity ride, just because I want to be here to see them grow up.
Do you ride bikes? You do? No.
Bicycle, I hope. I mean,
I don't know what else Grandma did. You're not a motorcycle.
I don't know. You went there to watch Sons and Mayans.
You wear a helmet, right?
I got a princess helmet.
A princess helmet. That's amazing.
That's amazing.
I gotta tell you the story. How old are you?
How old are you?
5.
5. Okay, I've been riding for a long time, and when my boy is 3 years old, I've been wanting him to ride on my Harley for years, but he was too little. When nobody was looking. It's all right. No, I got in trouble already, bro. So and he would always go and I'd let him rev the pipes, throttle and make noise and shit. He used to love that shit. Anyway, and he's 3 years old. I'm sorry. I didn't see her, bro.
She's the one asking me that.
So check it out, bro. So first of all, I didn't read the rules. And I wanted my bikes to have crash bars in the back, right? My Heritage. And nobody was looking, bro. He was staying at my mom's house. We picked him up. And so Yadi was out. And so I put him in the back seat. And I said, you cannot let your legs hang because when the spokes and you cut off your legs, So I told him, put your feet on the crash bars. And I tied him up with a belt to the sissy belt. You know what I'm talking about?
The story's getting worse and worse as it goes.
And more Child Protective Services people that just walked in with more here.
Grab him too. He tied the kid with a belt to a hot motorcycle.
I took him to Griffith Park. We had some donuts. It was really cool.
Donuts.
So it was like about an hour ride. It was really, he's 18 now. He's good, But
he's alive.
I survived. I pulled up, and we had a ball. He was just eating with me. He was eating, and we had some donuts, and we had some burgers, and then we came home, and everybody was on that porch. with the ugliest face. Like, are you fucking crazy?
Sorry, you guys excited.
Anyway, it was a beautiful day and I didn't get I started reading the rules. They can't reach the pegs.
He said fudge.
Them, you know?
Yeah.
I just want to state for the obvious that did not answer her question. And it loaded in about 30
Well, back in the days, mother kids. No, sorry,
That
I'm
was
sorry,
an
baby.
amazing question.
Well, back in the day, I used to write those fast fights.
He's an excellent parent.
My other kids they're older now.
Okay.
No,
we got it.
Back in
Yeah, we're good, Emilio. We're good.
You gotta
We're
show
good.
the kids.
Wrap it up.
We're good.
Wrap it up.
That was a great question.
All right, wrap up Halliana for our final question. Actually, gentlemen, before we go real quick, has anybody got any projects on the docket you're allowed to share with us? Anything upcoming and stuff like that?
Bunch of stuff. IMDb has all that.
Soon to be revealed.
Yeah, they come out soon. A lot. Thank you guys so
I have
much.
a new novel out called Trust Issues. It's also an audiobook. It's everywhere, and I'll be reading at the Steinbeck Museum on June 21st if anybody's in that area. For an offer there.
Thank you guys.
One final thing.
Thank you.
One final question. Do y'all want to take a picture with this amazing audience?
Sure, let's
All right, everybody. What we're going to do, come up towards the stage, not on the stage. Come up towards the stage. Want to take a picture of this amazing cast, and all of you.